Live, we are live. Hi everyone, I cannot sing, but welcome to Novel Nights. I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
I'm Francesca.
And today we're talking about all things summer. We're actually wrapping summer. Think of it as a summer wrap. We're sharing our favorite books that we've read and loved. Obviously, you always know it's hard picking favorites, but we're going to try and do that today. We're also going to be chatting about the Times 50 best romance novels to read right now. So if you didn't see that list yet, well, we're going to go through it together and share some commentary. And we're also going to share some of our favorite books that we read this summer. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Francesca.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And welcome to Novel Nights. Yay! Welcome. Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Novel Nights. We're so excited that you're here joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about all things summer. We're doing a little mini summer wrap-up. We're sharing some of our favorite books that we've read this summer. We're also going to chat a bit about the Times 50 best new romance novels to read right now. Although the books aren't necessarily new, but the list is. So we're really going to kind of, dive into that list just in case you haven't seen that list and gone through it already. But before we get into it, let's chat a bit about what's been new this week. So Laura, what's been new? What are you working on? What's been happening?
So my brother was in town, so I got furniture. As you can see, there's a new coffee table. There's a light in the behind. It's supposed to be a fancy color light, but the color is not there. But I'm also struggling with no AC for the next couple of weeks. And if you know, I live in Florida, so it's quite warm, but it's somewhat okay. So I'm surviving. But hopefully the AC will be fixed in a couple weeks and I should be back to central air.
Yes, definitely looking forward to that central air. I mean, I know what it's like to not have AC. I think we've all been through it at some point. I mean, I think it's almost like a rite of passage living in Florida. You have to be without AC. Yeah. But Francesca, tell us what's been new with you this week?
Oh my God. So lots of stuff happening this week. I did like the formal official launch of the community move to Substack, which I'm super excited about. So you guys can go and check it out. It's underthecoverscommunity.com. And I'm excited. There's a lot of fun content that I'm brainstorming and I'm going to be bringing to the community. There's going to be some free content as well. So you can sign up to receive that for free. And we're also running a 20% off lifetime for anybody that signs up now during the launch. So it's a great time to come in. So yeah, there's been a lot of work for that. So I've been happy creating content.
Yes, happy creating content indeed. I mean, for me this week in terms of what's new, I mean, I like to say y'all are leading the way because I too am slowly making my way over to Substack. I'm loading up content as we speak. I'm planning to officially launch to everyone in first week of September. But, if you want to take a little sneak peek, you can see me as I'm actively loading stuff up right now. So, yeah, I'm in the trenches, so to say. What's new? What's new is, as you all know, I moved 7 weeks now, and we got some landscaping done, which is great. So I wanted like a privacy hedge, so that I can have the hedge up and then have my little garden boxes. I foresee a gardening era in my future. It's probably going to take a year and a half or two to get the hedges where I want them. But anyways, yeah, so for me, that was new. I was out watering them before I hopped on here. So, you know, that was kind of fun and exciting, and it kind of gave me a little wind down. So new hedges. I'm still watching Lady in the Lake on Apple TV Plus. So I've been doing the recaps on Monday, new episode tomorrow. So I'm really excited about it, just to kind of see how things play out with Reggie. So if you're watching Lady on the Lake on Apple TV, come join me on Mondays for the recap. But yeah, I think that's it. I think so far those are some of the new things that's been happening. But let's get into novel nights. Let's get into some of the things we plan to talk about for the live show. So the first thing, like I said, is the times list. I'm actually going to share my screen so we can actually just, you know, go through this together. Let me make sure we're on the right setting. Yes. Okay. So let's go through this list. So 50 best romance novels to read right now. Irresistible picks for readers of all kinds of romance, from enemies to lovers to marriage of convenience to just one bed. So anyway, they have a whole thing about how they made the list. But before we get into that, let's just scroll. So top I see is Happily Ever After. You see, like, you know, Red, White, and Royal Blue, Book Lovers, and some of the favorites there. But anyway, Cecilia, Pride and Prejudice. I mean, they kicked off the list with 2 classics. I mean, what do you all think about that?
I haven't been familiar with Cecilia, so that's because like I had Spanish literature growing up, but I know Pride and Prejudice so well because I read so many retellings. It is the go-to enemies to lovers. Mr. Darcy is the emblem of the hero, so we know Pride and Prejudice. Like it's like the not just a Regency mother, but it's also the mother for all contemporary romance.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it's good to have that as a base for everybody to read, because like if somebody's getting into it and they haven't read Pride and Prejudice, they have to. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, I think it's good to always have a good solid foundation to start. We have Friday's Child, Georgette Heyer, Price of Salt, Claire Morgan, that Lord of Scoundrels by Loretta Chain.
That's a 5-star for me.
That is a 3-star, but I appreciate that what it worked for Lord of Scoundrels.
Is it?
I love it. He's an asshole. I love it.
He's like a 3-star. He was like, I don't know. He was just too whiny for me.
Oh my gosh. We have Beverly Jenkins on the list. Indigo. Have you read that one?
I have
It's
not.
on my list.
It's on my TBR. Yes.
She just celebrated 30 years with Night Song of her publishing. So
wow,
amazing.
That's a long
time running. So
yeah.
Then we have Miss Nora.
I was just gonna say Nora Roberts on the list.
I have not read that one, but I'm happy to see her there in any shape, way, or form. So
yeah.
If Only It Were True, Mark Levy. But of course, we have the Julia Quinn here on the list of Viscount Who Loved Me, along with Twilight.
Yes.
Now, that's my favorite Julia Quinn, but I have to be like the voice of reason here. Twilight is not a romance.
I know. Well, I will find out this year because I'm reading Twilight for just an FYI content thing. I'm reading Twilight for the first time and consuming all Twilight media this fall because God bless vampires and fall. Yes. So you should hear my comments of this thing that now I know it's not even romance.
It's not. It is a toxic relationship, and it should not be on a romance list.
I don't even know. I mean, I know what it's about. I watched the films, but I don't know. Is it a romance? I don't know. I don't see it that way. But anyway, we have Cressley Cole. We have Lisa Kleypas. Have you read this one?
Yeah, both. Amazing, both of them.
Devil in the Winter is the most toxic, yet loving Sebastian. What's his last name? He was Tim Vincent. He redeemed himself. He's like my favorite Kleypas hero.
I mean, he starts off kidnapping the heroine.
I like him better than Derek Craven from the Lisa Kleypas universe.
I agree. I agree. Also, on a side note, for A Hunger Like No Other, if you want like toxic romance, it is a fated maid story, and the hero has been like chained under like the city basically for like hundreds or thousands of years or whatever, and he senses that his mate is walking on the street up above, and he literally chews through his own leg so that he can be free and go after her.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I mean, you have to read it.
It's so romantic. He changes so.
Oh my gosh. So we have some Nalini Singh, J.R. Ward. We even have
Yeah,
Suzanne
I love
Brockman.
those.
Yeah. We're happy with this list. This is a good starter
it's
list.
solid. I mean, also Suzanne Brockman. I haven't read a lot of her books, and I haven't read that one, but
haven't
she's
read
a
that.
staple of romantic suspense. So it's kind of important that she was on here, I feel. So it's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I noticed they have like this little thing about how romance novel covers have evolved. That's a different rabbit hole.
Mhm.
But anyway, we have Sarah McLean, Tessa Dare, Kevin Kwong, Jeannie Lin. How are we feeling
Another
about
side note, I don't know about Kevin Kwan being on a romance list. That is not a
I
romance.
don't think so. But he was in the list of the make the recommendations, so he made himself rack. You know, it's all good.
I mean, listen,
It is
I
truly
get it.
great.
I like the movie too, but like it
Yeah.
is a romance list.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have Sherry Thomas, Jenny Han.
Also, Jenny Han, same thing.
It's
Come
She's on the
YA.
list.
I
It's
like
a
it. I
YA
really
September.
enjoyed
It's a
it, but-
YA. It's a YA. You know, it is romance. She does pick the boy, and then she
Yeah.
goes and extend it and go back and forth. But it is still romance. You know, it's just
romance.
YA.
Okay, all right. We have Alyssa Cole, Simona.
I love that Alyssa Cole book. It was so good.
Yeah, I'm Alyssa Cole fan. I'm also an Alexa Martin fan.
I am excited for this Wildfire. I want
Wildfire is so good.
Oh,
Is it
really?
Oh my God, it's
I haven't
so
read
good.
that one.
I think this is the one that features Nordstrom, and it's urban fantasy. I was like so excited about featuring a store like a Nordstrom, the Galleria Mall, and they're having this like war scene happening because we have a war scene.
Oh, okay, interesting. We have Jasmine Guillory, Uzma Jalaluddin, Brenda Jackson,
Yes,
Talia Hibbert.
yes.
How are we feeling?
So
Yeah,
the wedding day was like what opened up this tripod rom-com cutesy cover, like cover. It's like the starter one. It came out and just opened up a new genre.
Okay. Well, we were talking about Pride and Prejudice and retellings.
Yeah.
We have Aisha at Last.
Love
I
it.
love that one. I'm a big Talia Hibbert fan too with Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Absolutely love that one as well. Haven't read this Brenda Jackson, so I have no comment.
Yeah, Brenda Jackson is a long-running Harlequin author. She has this long-running series, like I think decades, and so she's a staple in the Harlequin world, providing like cowboys, like and westerns and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, and like small towns, and I think also some romantic suspense.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, now we're going into Casey McQuiston, Helen Huang, Beth O'Leary, Rebecca Witherspoon. What do y'all think?
I'm happy with that.
I'm happy, but the Fletcher it's probably like her most rom-commy. Like she delves into the whole women's fiction, which I love. I love that writing, but they can be women's fiction, they can be rom-coms, they can be more grief issues. This one has like some trigger warnings, so but it's a good, and there's a TV show, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Solid. I think solid picks. Same with the Rebecca Weatherspoon is not my favorite one. I think I probably would have picked the first book in that series, Rafe, but still really solid choices.
Yeah, I love all these. I think this is very solid. So now we have Alexis Hall, Courtney Milan, Alexis Daria, Tessa Bailey. How are we feeling now about this set?
So my feeling is that I am happy to see the authors.
Yeah.
I don't know if these are
The
like
best
what I would have, like what I would have put forth as the best work.
yeah. They're probably the most popular because I know Boy from Mature was popular. It Happened Once Summer was popular. You Had Me at All was popular. So those
Well,
are
with Courtney Milan, I don't think that was necessarily her
I think
most popular.
no, I don't think so. I think Courtney Milan is the anomaly in this group.
Yeah.
But Courtney at the end of the day was the one who took down RWA. So we
Yeah.
her time. She helped take down a whole association.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Wild. Okay, let's keep going. We have Melinda Lowe, Tia Williams, Adriana Herrera, and Kennedy Ryan. What do you think about this set of four?
I love 7 Days of June. It's like one of my favorite books.
Same.
Like so good. I have not heard about Melinda Lowe, but I'm curious. Adriana, I like her American Dreamer series. Her debut series is great. It's great representation, but I like her take on historical romance and like having Caribbean people in the historical time. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that part is fun.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I will add, I like Melinda Lowe. Melinda Lowe writes mostly like young adult.
Yep.
So you'll get young adult, kind of a little mystery, suspense in there as well. But yeah, I'm a fan for sure. Okay, so Emily Henry, Nisha Sharma, Bolu Babaloa, and Hannah Grace. What do we feel about this set?
So we got popular. We got Icebreaker and Book Lovers, which are breakout hits. Like I read Icebreaker, it was fine. Not, it was great. Book Lovers, I DNF. That was like the one Emily Henry that I did not like. But they're popular. I love this Nisha Sharma take on Taming of the Shrew. Like it's set in Jersey City, and I lived in Jersey City for 11 years, so it was close to my heart. And Honey and Spice is on my TBR list for a long time, and I just need to bump it up.
I love Honey and Spice. Bolu Babaloa does amazing work. I'm trying to remember the name of the other book. Can't remember, but anyways, really good. I agree with you on Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Love Nisha Sharma. I love like these Shakespearean takes, kind of like if Shakespeare was an auntie kind of vibes. So that's really good. Haven't read Icebreaker though, so I have no comments.
Yeah, haven't read that.
It's a hockey. It's the episode like the trend of hockey romance, and it's the figure skating, but it's just like. It's like most popular hockey romance there is out there, but they're better hockey romances, and they're for every need. So, I have a list of other hockey romance for figure skating books in my blog, so you can just look up like Icebreaker.
Awesome. So moving on, we have Abby Jimenez, Sangu Mandana, Sonali Dev, TJ Alexander. How do we feel?
I love this TJ's book.
I love
it's their take on a billionaire actually spending the money the right way on helping others. Sangu Mandana, this is on my TBR list for this fall. It's a cozy witches book. It's all the cozy vibes.
Yeah. I did have a guest reviewer that did that Sangu Mandana and loved it. And I think actually Suzanne also had read it and loved it. So
I read it and loved it.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
Yes, I endorse it. It's definitely cozy. It actually just gave me a reminder for cozy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't saying anything, but it gave me, I was like, oh yeah, that one too. Love Abby Jimenez. The one I haven't read is this one by Sonali Dev. Like I've read Sonali's Pride and Prejudice. Well, not Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen, because she has several of those. I don't know this one, The Vibrant Years.
Yeah, I didn't read that one.
It's an Amazon book. You might have found it like it may not gotten a lot of promotion.
Right. Love TJ's work always. And Ali Hazelwood. Is that the last one? Yes. Last one is Ali. Love Theoretically. I actually love this one. I do. Yeah. I love this one. So really good. Okay, so folks, just a quick scan heading back all the way up to the top. This is the Times 50 must-read romance books right now. Yep, 50 best romance books to read right now. So let us know what you think in the comments. You're watching us live. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about the Times 50 romance books? How do you feel about it? Replay crew, we'd love to hear from you as well. So let us know in the comments what you think about the list. But quick thoughts on the list. I'll go first. I think this was a solid romance list. I mean, look, romance isn't my main wheelhouse. I read romance, but I appreciated this list because it included some new books, but older titles. And I find it interesting that these authors that they're featuring, they have newer books, but they're recommending some of the older titles. So I kind of really like that. What do you think, Laura?
I think this is a good library list of someone who's starting out with romances. Like, I don't know where to start. And here are the staples that are frequently recommended. And here's not the best work, but the most popular work, or the work that you actually can get started. So it's a great starter list. I think it's a pretty diverse list. Like, it's not just focusing on just one genre. Yes, it will like to have more indie, but like, it is totally fine. Like, this is a good staple for traditional published or just established genres staples.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Fran, overall?
Yeah, same thing for me. I think it was really good how they included some of the older titles, and I think that they really tried to hone in on authors that should be staples in the genre. So I really appreciated that, and the variety. So a variety of subgenres of romance. There's diversity. There's all kinds of stuff. I think it was very, very well put together. Same.
Yeah.
I think that they could have also done some newer titles or some indie, but I think overall it's like a good base list.
Yeah.
Maybe you just needed a different name, like not the ones to read right now, or maybe it's like the beginners, or something like that.
I found it interesting, again, the backlist, but maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a way for readers not to feel pressured to have to get these new books and just the stress of acquiring these books. So I'm starting to think maybe this is like a low pressure, great entry point. Like Laura said, you can get this at your library. The hauls probably won't be long. If you are buying the book, you probably can get it on sale. You probably can find a used copy. So I don't know. Actually, let me go to the, let me see how they made the list. Okay, no, this is way too long, and I did not read this ahead of time. Not reading it now. But I was just very curious about their intent. But anyways, I think this is a perfect segue, as we've been talking about books to read, to kind of get into some of our favorites for the summer. So I'm trying to figure out who wants to go first. Should I go first?
I can go first.
Okay. Laura is going first. So Laura's going to share some of her favorites from this summer.
All righty. Can I?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
All right. So I have, I think, 5 or 6 titles, and one we share, Victoria. So the first title is 7 Summer Weekends by Jane L. Wilson. So this is a Fire Island. I inherit a house and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I lost my job and it's delightful. I know the previous book is Fire Island and it's a sad book. So this is like the follow-up of that book. So I did not read the first book because it's sad, but this one is just, it has a happily ever after. It feels good. It's kind of like fun. It's a fun escape to Fire Island. It's like that summer, quintessential summer book. If you're not reading it this summer, save it for next summer. Put it on like a list for a summer book to escape from. The next book is You Will Never Be Me, which comes out in 2 weeks. And it's a thriller, influencer thriller. So it's mom influencers gone wrong. One of them kills the other. And we're just trying to figure out how they're going to get out of this mess. It's a commentary of influencer culture from reels, content creations, how to be like a perfect mom and taking care of your kids. I would say there's an explosive poop scene that you can skip altogether. It does not move the story forward other than just saying like being a mom is hard. That's the only thing that I ended up like DNFing from reading with my eyeballs, and I ended up picking up an audio because I was like, I don't want to have that scene for me. So that's You Will Never Be Me with Jessica Q. Sutanto. The next book is Name Your Price by Holly James. I don't think I've seen this book around, but I absolutely adored this book for the reasons that it's Big Brother, Too Hot to Handle, enemies to lovers, when explosive breakup, celebrities, and former child celebrity, like a child with 2 celebrities who had a tumultuous past with paparazzis. It has a combination that I love. It's celebrity, it's LA. It has like you're stuck in a house, forced proximity. You have to have challenges like building furniture together, and you're not supposed to touch each other or you lose money. this book is for you. So the audio is excellent. It is a fun one. It's a fun time. And I hope to see it more often. The next book is One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. So this book it's a rom-com. The premise is, and it's based on the author's premise, that she was in a wedding and one of the groomsmen gave her 1-star review on Goodreads. And so she wrote a book about something similar to that. This part is I think it's the maid of honor and the groomsman, the best man, and they have to, over the period of 10 years, it's told through different parts, they have to hang out with each other. And she points out that he gave her a 1-star review. There's an exploration about friendships and how things change in your life in your 20s and 30s, when you started out in your 20s, and then you have babies, kids, and you may not be in that same level. It's delightful. It is a great one. I really love this one. Audio is great. I listen to all of these in audio. That's why there's the audio picture. And finally, Love Letters to a Serial Killer, which is a commentary of millennial obsession with serial killers, or judge or court shows or any Dateline whatsoever. So we get the premise of, a heroine who hates her job, but she's like trying to just make ends meet, and she's not happy where she's at. And so she starts joining a Reddit culture, like a Reddit thread about this serial killer, and she becomes fascinated. And then she sends some letters, and then they start being pen pal, and then they fall in love. Is it really falling in love? Is he a serial killer? Is it not? So it is delightful. It is a good commentary on millennial way of living of some sort.
I like that one. I have to chime in and say I was like this close, because we don't share our list ahead of time. So it's not even like we can say, oh, this is what we're doing. And I was like this close, and I was like, no, let me just stick to my other book recommendation that I've been shoving in everyone's hands. But I think Love Letters to a Serial Killer hasn't gotten like as much love, but I really enjoy it. I think it's so millennial, and as an elder millennial, I'm here for all the vibes.
It's a polarizing book. Like, don't get me wrong, people either love it or hate it. I loved it. I love the audio. Audio was delightful. It was just like fun. It's a fun escape. And like, who to go? She's like, as someone who's now watching the Tom Girardi court case, I'm like getting the updates. It's the same vibes of like, being in the courtroom and trying to figure out like, do I like him? Do you know me? What's going on? He's cute, It's a good one.
No, I get it. Awesome. All right. So Francesca, what's your favorites from the summer?
So I wanted to actually pick things that were a little bit lesser known and that maybe I haven't talked about everywhere. So I read a couple of books that were like, what do you call it? Sports themed because of the Olympics. So actually my first pick is a tennis romance. It's not necessarily a set at the Olympics, but it is set at Wimbledon. And the heroine of the story, she's renting out her place during Wimbledon so that she can go and have kind of like let's call it a writing retreat. She wants to be a comic book artist, and she needs to like flesh out her story and her drawings and all of it. And she rents out her place. She doesn't know who's coming, but he comes in earlier, and it's one of the players, happens to be one of the players at the tournament. And the place that she was going to stay at for her retreat falls through, and they have to kind of cohabitate, basically, because he doesn't want to leave. And they develop this relationship, and he was kind of in a bad place mentally, and she's there to help him push through and achieve a better position and get through the game. So it was really nice, like, to see them support each other, where they were both feeling like down on their careers, him with his tennis and her with her drawing and her comic books and all of that, because her previous boyfriend was a complete ass. So I really enjoyed it. It was a very easy to read, very fun kind of read in one sitting book. The next book that I really enjoyed is one that actually has older characters, and I don't think we see that as much in romance, and that is Do Me a Favor by Kathy Yardley. And I enjoy this one a lot because the heroine is a widow and she inherits basically a house from her aunt. And it's kind of in a small town next to a farm. And she moves there basically thinking that after her husband passed, and this was after he was very sick, she has to rebuild her life. And before she was a ghostwriter for cookbooks. So now she gets this job to go back into her career, and she has to basically write a cookbook for this social media influencer that basically his whole thing is to be very sexy while he cooks. So it has to be all kind of sexy recipes. And she's really not in her element because that's not where she's at in her life anymore. And the hero turns out to be kind of like the handyman of the town. And he has to come in because there's a dog that goes missing. He picks up at her place. That's how they meet. But it's a very cute, like a meet cute kind of thing. And they're just like real people, very lovable people. And they're older. You know, the hero is a single father. He has twins, but they're already older and grown. So it was really nice to see their dynamic. It's a little bit different than what we're used to reading, but I definitely really enjoyed it. Another one that I also really enjoyed, it's a debut novel by Gabriela Games, and that is The Next Best Fling. And this one, Heron is a librarian. The hero is an ex-football player, I think. Kind of sports player, but that doesn't come into play in the story too much. But she was actually, she had a crush on his brother. And now he has to, the brother is getting married, and she decides that it's time to let go of the crush. It's not going to happen. And at one of the functions for the wedding, she ends up finding this brother, and he is completely drunk, and he wants to confess to the fiance that he's in love with her. So instead of seeing her best friend's wedding like completely fall apart, she takes the brother home with her to kind of sleep off the drunken night. And everybody ends up thinking that they hooked up. So they just fake the relationship and go with it. And they end up really liking each other and finding out they're more compatible than they ever thought. You know, they basically knew each other from before, but they never really saw each other that way. So it was really nice to see them explore that connection. I feel like he falls for her first. And it was just a really sweet book. So also it was pretty steamy. And then from really steamy, we go to a closed door or sweet romance, I guess, and that is Thank You Next by Catherine Freeman. And this one was just fun. So it basically is set at a reality TV show, and the hero of the story, well, let's back up. The heroine of the story is going on this TV show because her current boyfriend tells her that he's got to break up with her because he just got picked to be on a reality TV show. And so he says, I can't go to this reality TV show and have a girlfriend. So we're going to break up, and I'm going to go off and do this because it's going to be great for my career. He's kind of like a fitness influencer. And she ends up going on the same show to get him back, basically. But little does she know that when she goes to the show, they kind of get paired off with someone, and she gets paired off with a guy that she used to date before the current boyfriend. And it's kind of like them reconnecting. And of course, there's the third guy. So it was just a lot of fun. It's a really fun, sweet, and very fast read. Sweet in the sense of there is no sex, but it was a lot of fun to read, especially if you like reality TV. This was like perfect. You're going through all the motions and all the different contests and different things. It was a lot of fun. And then for my backlist title that I wanted to bring, I have Return the Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. I've been wanting to read this book since it came out, and I was avoiding it because I was thinking, okay, I do enjoy serial killer romances, but a funny one, I don't know how that's going to make sense. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was, oh my God, it was so addictive to read. Yes, they're both basically killers, but I guess they're doing a good thing because they're killing bad guys. So it's excusable, I guess. But I guess there's definitely trigger warnings for this one because some of the scenes are pretty graphic. But I think the author did them so well that even as they're like, there's someone eating brains, It's funny. I don't know how to explain that, but it is. It was just funny as they're doing all of the things, even when you're supposed to be a little grossed out or scared or whatever. So I think that the author did that really well. I definitely encourage you to give this book a shot if you thought that maybe you would be a little squeamish or, you just didn't want to read a serial killer romance. But it was just a lot of fun. It was like genuinely, it was a lot of fun to read.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I have to say, I haven't read any of the books. Like, this is a list of I am 0 for 0. I mean, but they sound great. Whoopsie. How do I remove that one? Yeah, but what do you think, though, Laura? Have you read any of these?
I read a couple of those, but I think You Next is one of those. I was like, why haven't I read it? And I was like, I think it's probably because of the sweet connotation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I actually don't like the sex scenes. So it's probably like
I didn't feel like it was missing. I usually prefer if there is some, but I'm like, you know what? It didn't need it. It was fine.
Perfect. Yeah.
Was
So I'm bumping that up, and I'm going to give the sweet, closed door a try to see if I like it.
Yeah.
I like closed door romances. I'm fine with it. But again, I haven't read that one. So I have more books to add to my reading list. All right. Well, I guess I'm up, and my first book wanted to pop up before I got going. Like, it was like, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. So that book is Let the Games Begin by Rufaro Faith Mazarua. Read this book, love this book. Yes, I recommended it in the summer reading guide, but I can't stop recommending it to people. And I think because, again, we're in the middle of the Olympics. I mean, to be fair, we're kind of winding things down, but Olympic fever is still very much on. The news keeps reporting it every day. Social media is updating us. So if you want something that will take you to the heart of the Olympics, this is a book for you. We meet a girl who's always wanted to go to the Olympics. She gets an internship. So she's working at the Olympic Village. And then while there, she meets this guy who's a sprinter. And like I said, they both meet in the Olympic Village, which is kind of like a very closed world, and it kind of helps now that we have one of the US rugby players, Iona, creating the Olympic Village like Love Island. So if you think of people meeting and connecting there and having romances, then hey, this is the book for you. So we see these two kind of get together. The banter between them is very flirty, very fun. There's also some personal aspirations in there because the sprinter's trying to get a gold medal this Olympics. He's won silver before. Or heroine at the center, she really cares about like her career advancement and so on. So from personal aspirations that they have themselves to the expectations of family, we see, these two kind of get to know each other. We see, of course, sparks start to fly and everything. And of course, the excitement of the games is at the center. This is set in Greece. I know the real life Olympics is happening in Paris, but I just loved how it blends the good vibes of the Olympics and, just all the fun, along with a romance, but also personal themes as well. So I think this is a perfectly timed book. So if that's something you're interested in, then I highly recommend. Okay, the next book on my list is a fantasy, but more like historical fantasy. I love anything that's like a good throwback, a good retelling. And this book is just that. It is a King Arthur kind of retelling. So at the center, our main character is this young knight who kind of, shows up to Camelot. He's heard everything about King Arthur. He wants to be a part of the Knights of the Round Table. But when he kind of arrives, he realizes that, it's kind of disbanded and, it's fallen apart. So we see him get together with, I guess you could say, like a crew of people to go on a quest to find a successor and also rebuild Camelot and restore balance. Because King Arthur's death has occurred, like the whole place is kind of in turmoil. Britain is fractured and there's lots of chaos. There's dark magic as well. So, we have all of those things. I love a good reimagining. And when I tell you this is a brilliant King Arthur reimagining, I'm telling you, just if you love the original legend, like if you bought into that, then you have to read this one. I think what makes it special is because it's a lot more inclusive and it's diverse and we have more complex characters. And I feel it puts a spotlight on some of the lesser known characters. But like I said, if you're familiar with the King Arthur legend, you need to read this one. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy. Yes, it's the Magician's Trilogy. It says so on the cover. So this is the first book. Again, highly recommend. So if you're looking for something just that reimagines the classic myth, and even if you're not familiar with the myth, look, it's very simple. King Arthur is running the place. There's like law, order, balance. He dies. There's chaos. And we see a fellowship of people trying to find a successor and, bring back balance to the world. So I highly recommend The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. Okay, a more literary book, because I am a literary girly at heart. I highly recommend The Anthropologist. It is just so good. It's a quick read. So, if you're trying to cram or find some books to kind of hit those reading goals before summer is out, I recommend this one because it's a quick read. It's a slim book. So this can help you check those reading goals if you're behind. But this book takes an intimate look into a couple's journey of building a new life in a foreign city where they're living. We also see them navigating modern love because, again, they're a young couple, and just the challenges of maintaining connections to like their family and their roots, because, again, they're living in this foreign country. It's unnamed in the book. That's why I keep saying foreign country. It's very insightful. It's one of those books that kind of, I feel, will bring you back to yourself, because it's just a really great reminder of the small joys and comforts and just the things that really matter in life. So, sometimes you can kind of be down a bit and you just feel like, oh my God, my life is just so blah. But I kind of feel like life happens in those, mundane moments. So if you're open to reading a story that's just meandering and we're just following a couple and their ordinary moments as they're living, again, in this foreign space, it will really appeal to you. And you don't have to be like, an immigrant or a foreigner anywhere to kind of relate to it, because I think it explores larger universal themes, which is just basically how can we live and just live more authentic lives. It's very, very, very cool in that regard. Another summer read that I think is, it's telling me I can't put this book up. Hold on. Let me see if I can change a few things here. Okay, cool. So another summer book that I'm recommending is Sandwich. I think Sandwich is a really great read. It's fun. I think it screams summer. It's another one that I think you should add to your reading list if you're looking for a book to, how should I say it? To hit those reading goals. So if you're trying to, again, try and add another book, this is a slim book. It's a fun book. As you can see from the cover, it has like a very beachy setting. Now, this is a story about a family summer vacation in Cape Cod. And at the center is a woman who is at a unique point in her life. I'm not there yet, but I have to be honest, it was kind of like giving me more insight into what might be. And one of those what might be moments is like, what is it like when you have children who are young adults? So it's like they're not adults, but they feel like they're adults, but they still kind of need you in some capacity, but not like when they're little. But then you're also sandwiched between parents that you're now caring for. So that's a very unique place. So it's like you have children who are no longer children and parents who are kind of like, going downhill in terms of like, their age, and you thinking that, okay, I'm going to have to start caring for these people. But then you're in midlife. And when you're a woman, that means menopause and hormonal changes and stuff. So the thing I loved about this book is that this family keeps coming to this vacation spot year after year. So when you've been going on a holiday with your family every year, and you've been doing it from they were little, and from you were like a young parent, and your parents were like, younger grandparents, you kind of see the changes evolve as you keep revisiting this place over and over, year after year. So the changes within your family kind of really stand out when the place remains the same. So we see this woman kind of dealing with her growing kids, dealing with her aging parents, confronting past family secrets coming out. And, it's just a very relatable, normal family. So it's very entertaining because mishaps happen. Just imagine, again, a family cramming into this little beach house. It's not like some big extravagant place. Things don't work. Things start leaking, toilets don't, it's a mess. So, but it's fun. So I highly recommend Sandwich if you're looking for a book that is also fun. All right. Now this internet is also giving me trouble. All right, next book that I want to recommend is a thriller. And I don't know if it's popping up. There we go. It's A Talent for Murder by Peter Swanson. Now, I love Peter Swanson. Okay, I'm going to read anything this man writes. I'm just a fan of his work. And this one is a retelling of The Talented Mr. Ripley. It's not really a retelling. It just kind of gives nods to The Talented Mr. Ripley. So we see a woman who's a librarian. She's newly married. Her husband is a traveling salesman. And she starts to make connections where every time he goes and visits somewhere, some women have been murdered in these same cities where he travels to for work. Now, is it every single city? No. But 5 cities he's been to, 5 women have been killed. I mean, coincidence? Yes or no? So anyway, she's very suspicious of him. It's one of those when you're newly married, like, do you really know who your husband is kind of vibes. So we see her contact a friend, ask for help. She's like, can you go to the conferences where he's going to, kind of see what he's up to and see if you can get some info on, his whereabouts and what's going on. And when her friend goes to investigate, she realizes, hey, I'm not the only person who's following him. Of course, some twists start to occur and, things start to happen. Again, it's a thriller. So not much else I can say without getting into spoiler territory. But I love Peter Swanson. I think this is great. And it's just fun for summer. But I also think this is a good off-season read. So don't stress too much if you haven't gotten to it yet. And the last book I'm going to recommend is actually kind of like a nod to Jane Austen. I've been pitching this series. What's the name of this series again? I can't even remember. Oh, a Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney mystery. I'm literally reading off the book cover. Those books are fun. I've pitched every single book in that series as if Jane Austen and Agatha Christie had a baby, this is what you would get. So this is like a cozy mystery series, but again, I get Agatha Christie vibes, but it's very Jane Austen inspired. So this one is called The Perils of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. And we know Lady Catherine, right? Lady Catherine is the aunt of Darcy. Am I right? Let me know in the comments if I'm right. I think I'm right. I don't remember my Austen family tree and Darcy family tree, but she's the aunt. And if my memory serves me right, she doesn't want them to be together. She's trying to break Elizabeth and Darcy apart. But anyway, interestingly enough, they are coming to her aid in this book because it seems like someone's out to get her. And we see Darcy and Juliet Tilney, who is at the center of the book. They try to save her from some threats that have been happening. So, you have Elizabeth and Darcy. Jonathan is their son. And then Juliet is, the friend, and they're getting to know each other and stuff. So we see a mystery occurring because they're trying to save Lady Catherine. But there's also a romance. We see Jonathan and Juliet kind of navigating their own relationship. So it's very fun. So you're going to get romance, you're going to get mystery, you're going to get suspense. And again, this is a nod to Austen. So if you love Austen and if you love Christie, then I kind of feel like you kind of have to read this book. So it's fun. And I think this is also a good, if you don't read it now in the summer, to kind of top off your summer reading list, this will be a good off-season read. And if you're new to the series, I think this is the 3rd book because you have The Murder of Mr. Wickham, then you have another one, then you have this one. Yeah, so this is the 3rd book. So, you don't have far to go and they're all really fun. So yeah, those are my books. Have you all read any of these?
No. However, I feel called out when you said that the Lady Catherine one had to be read if you love Christie and Austen. So, I mean, I have to read it.
I
Yeah,
saw
I'm telling you.
Sandwich.
And start with The Matter, Mr. Wickham. That's the first one. It's actually, I still think that one is kind of like my favorite.
Mhm.
But it really is if Agatha Christie and Jane Austen, that's how I've been telling everybody. If they had a baby, that's the book. That's the book they would write. I think so.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I think we shared quite a few books. I mean, between us, it was like, 5, 3, 15. I think I did an extra one, 16. So let us know in the comments, what do you think about these books? Also, what are some of your favorite books? I see Zach said, I love that book. I don't know which one. Sorry. Which one?
Sandwich.
Oh, it was Sandwich. Hey, yeah, Sandwich is good. Sandwich really is fun. It's one of those family books, and I think I appreciated it because it's just like a regular family. And when you have that one activity, so I challenge everybody watching, if you have that one activity you do with your family and you do it like every year, even if it's not every year, it could be every other year. But as the years go by, I don't know what it is when that one thing in that one place remains the same. It's easier to see how everyone is different. And how everyone has changed. So I think that's the importance of that consistent backdrop. This family going on holiday to this one place for how many years? So yeah, I think Sandwich is brilliant. It's a good book. It's a good read. But let us know in the comments, what are your favorite books, right? We want to hear from you. Replay crew, we want to hear from you too, okay? You're not getting out of this. Let us know what are some of your favorite books for the summer. But any other thoughts, friends?
No.
We're
getting ready
for. We did good.
Yeah.
So okay.
Nice variety.
Oh,
we lost her.
We lost her, but she'll be back. So we're getting ready for some fall books. We got some back to school academia's happening.
We're starting next week.
We're starting, yeah. So we got more book recommendations as the weather starts cooling down. So Victoria, you're back.
Yes, I don't know what happened there. I got kicked out of the whole thing, but it's fine. But the only other thing I was going to say is we have more upcoming shows. Again, Novel Nights every Thursday. Even if the internet kicks me off, I always come back. I think it's probably raining out, that's why. But anyway, so we just did summer favorites. So next week we're doing campus versus academia novels. It's going to be a fun, exciting discussion. I hope you come and join us. Of course, book recommendations, of course. But if you love campus and academia novels, you don't want to miss this one. And the following week, we're going to do Secret Society and college books. So again, we're getting into that back to school vibes. We're all in Florida, all three of us. School starts on Monday, okay, the 12th, August 12th, at least in my county. So yeah, we're in the back to school mode. We're getting ready to go. So yes, I hope you come and join us 7 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, 7 p.m. New York time, if you're not in the US. So just, kind of do the time conversion, the time differences there. But yeah, that's some of the stuff we have coming up. We also do stuff on our respective channels. So subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on what's new when we go live, when we upload new videos. Hit the notification bell so you know what's happening. And yeah, I think that's it. Did I miss anything? No, I think that's it. All righty, everyone. Well, take care, and we're looking forward to seeing you all next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.